When you train back, do you struggle to feel those muscles working? If not, this is actually bad news because it's almost impossible to build a muscle you can't even feel doing the work. Here are 7 exercises to help you tap into that mind-muscle connection and feel every last rep in the right place.
We're going to be taking ourselves back behind our seated cable row. So our shins are being supported by the back of that bench. I'm going to really get in that bent over position, pulling towards my knees, a little bit like kind of like a J lat pull down, somewhere between a straight arm pull down and a lat pull down, and then a big stretch at the top. So I'm kind of arcing to there. Really pinching my shoulder blades down. Dante Rows, really good option for isolating your lats. Seated cable row 1 and 1/4 method. This is a really good method for feeling those scapular retractors. So all those muscles between your shoulder blades. I'm just going to set myself up as I would do in my standard row. Puffing my chest out, nice flat back, keep my core engaged as well, and my chin up. Keep a relatively loose grip. Focus on driving with my elbows back into that position there. So all the way. And then about a quarter of the way out, back, and then all the way back out to that stretch position. So it's 1 and 1/4, and then out. And then here, I'm really focusing on that almost double pinch of my shoulder blades. This is a really great exercise for isolating and targeting your lats. I've got the cable set to around about head height or slightly higher. I take a step back until I've got enough tension in those cables, and just thinking about driving my elbows down towards my hips, keeping about the same angle in my elbows the entire time to get my lats really contracted, really firing in the bottom position. We're going to be having the same side foot forward to our working arm. Now what that does, it kind of locks off our hips and our lumbar spine, so we can really focus on driving the elbow, almost isolating that row. That dumbbell load is directly over that forward lead leg, arcing that dumbbell back, really squeezing our shoulder blades together, trying to work our lats as well, and then return to that big stretch at the bottom. You won't be able to use anywhere near as much weight with this as you would do with your standard 3-point row. You can use a dumbbell, whatever you want really with this one. We're going to be doing these in a single arm motion, but most people perform these like so, where you're really tucking your elbow by your side and there's a lot of bend in the elbow. So you're almost thinking about putting that elbow straight down. And while that's a really good option, there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. If you have a problem feeling that in your biceps instead of your back, here's a slightly different way to do it. So you're going to use that same grip, and instead of putting straight down, you just notice the amount of flexion in my elbow as I pull straight down. Try and keep the angle at my elbow pretty large. So I'm kind of looking forwards here. So as opposed to I'm here, I'm more back here. So I'm drawing the elbow down, keeping the elbow angle pretty big. What I can also do, if you do really struggle with that, is shift yourself a little bit further back on the seat. So instead of really being close in here, you can shift yourself back here, and that creates kind of a bigger arcing point. So it's a really big arc here, almost turn it into a rotor point, and then really big stretch. I'm starting from a really strict position every time and focusing on that motion. Nice flat back, pull that into my belly button, squeezing my shoulder blades together at the top to really activate my mid traps and rhomboids. I'm not losing the weight in that starting point. I'm maintaining probably about 50% of it, and then drive my elbows back behind me. Big squeeze, and then back down to that start. I'm going to be starting out with that preset ISO hold. So it's up. We want to be holding that for about 10 to 20 seconds and really focusing. Once we've done that, we can go into our dynamic reps. Again, with that same focus on pinching those shoulder blades together and allowing our shoulder blades to roll forwards, run our rib cage as well to get that full stretch at the bottom.
If you enjoyed this information, hit that like button to let us know. Plus, if you never want to miss another T Nation video again, hit subscribe and that little notification bell right next to it.